When we're trying to make progress, life's curveballs often feel like taking one step forward and two steps back. A Chime checking account makes financial progress easier with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/ratchet. With Chime, you're joining a community with millions of members who are working on financial progress. Chime helps you make progress with fee-free overdraft up to $200. Your next deposit is applied to your balance. Get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. To date, Chime has spotted over $30 billion. And my favorite part about Chime, they make it easy to access your money with over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/ratchet. That's chime.com/ratchet. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank North America or Stride Bank North America. Members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-state network ATMs. I'm going to let you in on a secret. I've always wanted to be a poet. So I was excited to see Amanda Gorman has a class all about it on Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the best to become your best. Masterclass is the only streaming platform where you can learn and grow with over 200 of the world's best. For just $10 a month, billed annually, a membership with Masterclass gets you unlimited access to every instructor. And you can access Masterclass on your phone, computer, smart TV, or even audio mode. I'm currently taking Amanda Gorman's class to learn the fundamentals of poetry, but there's so much more. You can bring your dream home to life on any budget with Joanna Gaines. Improve your physical and mental well-being with leading gut and brain health experts. And turn your passion into achievements with cultural icon Martha Stewart. And the classes really make a difference. 88% of members feel that Masterclass has made a positive impact on their lives. I've been taking Masterclass for years. Before I could afford to go to TV classes, I learned the fundamentals of TV writing from Masterclass. Every new Masterclass membership comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So don't wait another moment to start your learning journey with Masterclass. Right now, our listeners get an additional 15% off any annual membership at masterclass.com/ratchet. That's 15% off at masterclass.com/ratchet. Masterclass.com/ratchet. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Every January brings you 365 blank pages waiting to be filled. In 2025, maybe you're ready for a plot twist, or maybe there's a part of your story you've been wanting to revise. Life isn't about resolutions that fade by February. It's about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your own life. Think of therapy as your editorial partner, helping you write new chapters and create meaningful story that you deserve to live. You listen to this podcast, so you know I am a huge advocate of therapy. I think everyone should get some, including the people that think they don't need it. You, my friend, you may need it the most. BetterHelp makes it easy to get therapy, which I love. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, and serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Easily switch therapists anytime at no cost. Write your story with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/ratchet today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ratchet. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable. I am in Maryland. I have to say that because people think I have run off gallivanting if I don't. One of my friends who actually lives up the street just hit me 10 minutes ago and was like, girl, are you in Maryland? How long are you here for? And I'm like, I'm from here. Like, I live here. And so she was like, yeah, I know, but how long are you in town? And I was like, no, like, I'm currently living here. And so she was like, great. Will you be here this weekend? Maybe. I still don't have tickets to Tank and Fantasia. They're not sold out yet. And you can always get them on like a resale site. I mean, it's one thing about Valentine's Day. Somebody gonna fuck it up. They'll need to resell the tickets. Unfortunately, I may or may not end up at the show. We just gonna move along. We just gonna move along. What are we talking about this week? We're talking about the Super Bowl for sure and all of the fallout around it. We're talking about this Prince documentary that Netflix nixed. Did y'all hear about that? I saw it on one of my friends' pages and I was like, a Prince documentary, but not? We could have almost had it all. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Also, this episode, we have an amazing treat. Tracy Oliver. She's the creator of Harlem. Technically my boss when I was working on the show. She's also the creator of Girls Trip. Remember First Wives Club with Jill Scott on BET? I love that show. Tracy created that too. She's done a bunch of stuff. She's a writer for Survivor's Remorse. And you've been knowing her from way back, even if you don't remember that you knew her. She and Issa did Awkward Black Girl. She was a writer and producer on the show. Also, she was in the show. So even if you might not have known her name, you absolutely know her work. But we have an interview with Tracy later in the episode, and she tells us the alternative plots for Harlem. Spoiler alert, a different person was pregnant. It's a good chat. But before that, we need to talk about Blackest Super Bowl that just happened in this black-ass city. The Eagles of Philadelphia versus the Chiefs. Where are they from? I don't know nothing about that team other than literally Taylor Swift's boyfriend, whose name I don't even remember. Travis Kelce. I had to think about that. I used to know his name when he was dating a black girl and was still, going to a black barber. But he don't do that no more. With the Eagles of Philadelphia, with their fine-ass black quarterback, he's young. So people kept sending me pictures of him. And I was like, all I can say about Jalen Hurts is he's 90s fine. Even my mama was like, he fine. He is. I can't say nothing further than that. I don't lust in my heart or speak lustily for men under 30 years old. Just, it's a personal rule that I have. I don't think it's appropriate for me as a woman of a certain age, so I don't do it. But he fine. He's certainly fine. A nice-looking, well-raised, well-mannered, articulate young man of high character. Picked a nice black wife, a nice educated black wife. Currently fiance, soon-to-be wife. I really had absolutely no investment until I found out, because, I don't follow sports, until I found out Jalen Hurts was an Eagle. And then, the Fuhrer was rooting for the Chiefs because the half-black quarterback's white wife supports him. And I was like, do you know your husband and your children are black? I mean, not full black, but some black? And you support the racists as they mama? Whatever. Yeah. But that Super Bowl, I didn't watch it. I was out. I went to a museum. I went to go see Basquiat and Banksy at the Hirshhorn. They've been really pushing this exhibit, and I really wanted to see it. So my friend asked me if I wanted to go. And so we went, and it was 2 rooms. And that was it for the whole exhibition. I walked to the one big room and I was like, okay, cool. And then I walked into the next room and then there was the security at the exit. And I was like, wait, what? That was it? That was it. But we left there and we went to this little cute Mexican spot in Georgetown. Neither of us really had interest in watching the Super Bowl. His team wasn't playing, so he really didn't care. So we just went to get guac and margaritas. But of course, the Super Bowl was on. I got up from the table to go watch the important parts, by which literally I mean Kendrick. I heard the other part. I had to go actually see it on YouTube. But Southern University band never fails. Consistently good. We expect them to be great, and they are. John Baptiste did the regular national anthem. It was okay. I didn't love it. He did his own little rendition, which was fine. He gave it some razzle dazzle. I didn't particularly love the end. He tried to get out the box. He didn't want to do it the regular, degular way, which is fine. We know that he is a great artist. We know that he could sing. We know that he could play the piano. He played the piano fine. But just, his rendition didn't do it for me. But I didn't think it was bad. I didn't love it. I appreciated his repetition of Land of the Free because it seems so many people, especially high up in our government, have forgotten or overlooking it. But he repeated Land of the Free for emphasis 3 times, which I greatly appreciated. Please drive home the point for the 100 million people minimum listening. And the Führer who was in attendance. Lettucey, she did the Black National Anthem. I didn't really think it was going to happen. Leading up to the Super Bowl, I was crossing through the living room and my dad was watching, I don't know, CNN, MSNBC, one of those. They were debating like all day whether there should be a Black National Anthem. And I was like, you don't get to determine that? Like, the fuck? But then also, should it be performed at the Super Bowl? And I was like, well, all them Black people in the NFL and on these teams with two Black quarterbacks, Black and a half. Still, really, this is up for debate, but the current culture of the country is, I was going to say weird, but I think the correct word is racist. So it was a conversation about it, but it happened. Lettucey did what Lettucey always does. She sounded phenomenal. Her hair choice was, it was a choice. I like her, so I'm just going to move along. Okay. Let's see. We talked about Jalen Hurts as the Black quarterback. I'm genuinely happy for him. There's a clip that's been circulating post game, and he's sitting on the floor, I guess in the locker room, and he's got his trophy between his legs. He's smoking what I believe is a cigar. I'm like, sir, please don't tell me you're smoking a blunt right now. And he's got Frankie Beverly blasting. I saw an interview with him. They said, what is your favorite album, your favorite music, something like that? And he said it was a Frankie Beverly live album. And I had to go look up how old he was because I'm like, he looks like he could be in his 30s. 30s ain't really old enough for Frankie Beverly's live album to be your favorite. Like, you're still a little young for that at 30s, especially your early 30s. But all of 26. And I was like, you are an old soul. But he acts like it. Like, just in interviews, like just listening to him speak, the way he answers questions, he has a really good head on his shoulders. Like, his parents did real, real good by him. Let's see. I also read he's the first Black quarterback to win the Super Bowl since our beloved Russell in 2014. I love me some Russell Wilson, too. I love him because how he loves Sierra. I don't really know much about the man. He got a lot of money. There ain't no reason to love nobody, though. But he treats Sierra real, real well. He seems like a really good father to his children, biological and otherwise. 47 got booed at the Super Bowl. Apparently, our news is being censored now. Apparently, when Trump was booed at the Super Bowl, they played a track of people cheering instead. Only online are we seeing videos from people who are actually at the event of people booing Trump. Like the one video that's circulating the most, some man is screaming from his soul over all the boos, like, traitor, traitor. Like he's going ballistic. And I was like, why is this not what we're seeing? And the crazy thing is 47 had tweeted about Taylor Swift being booed. He was like, MAGA is very unforgiving. And I was like, wait, so you think Taylor Swift being booed is because of you and not because her boyfriend is playing for the Chiefs and maybe the people who were booing are not Chiefs fans? I would just assume that has something to do with it. Kendrick Lamar, people feel very passionately about this Kendrick performance. The racists don't like anything Black. They outwardly complained. They were like, this is a DEI Super Bowl. There were only Black people on the stage. There's like only Black people on the field too. They were complaining that there was no diversity. I'm like, wait, I thought y'all didn't like diversity. Now it's just all Black. It's not diverse. Like, it's a DEI. I'm like, the man just won 5 Grammys because he had a song that was so incredibly popular. When they got to the part of the song about A minor, the entire stadium sung along. That's why he's on the Super Bowl stage. He's not like some random. He's a Pulitzer. He has 22 Grammys. 22. Multiple albums. Multiple Billboard hits. And they still want to be like DEI, but not in like, the actual meaning of the word, but in like he's there because he's, Black, but incompetent. Because if you are Black, you must be incompetent. The other weird part though, some Black people didn't like it. They didn't feel like it went far enough. There's a type of, you got this person in your family for sure. You might be this person. But if somebody doesn't get on stage and yell like fuck whitey at the top of their lungs, it doesn't really count as revolution or rebellion. Like, it has to be a full out Molotov cocktail at a precinct. Otherwise, then you ain't really doing nothing. That's not Kendrick. Kendrick gave a solidly Kendrick performance. I've seen him perform a couple times. It was in the same vein of kind of what he always does. It was artsy. It was poetic. I thought it was a solid performance. I didn't think it was anything to be embarrassed by. I definitely didn't think it was bad. I saw a lot of people being like, that was trash. And I was like, okay, calm down, calm down. The art is subjective. Just because I like it, I don't feel that you have to love it. I know there are smart people that don't like Kendrick, and I don't understand why. But okay, sure. Like, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not I'm not mad at you. I thought it was great. I thought Samuel L. Jackson, who either plays a complete coon or just like an angry black man who yells the F bomb all the time, I thought he was great as, Uncle Sam. And then also making a historically white character, having it portrayed by a black person, but also playing the role of the voice of white America, telling the artist, telling Kendrick, telling black people to be less ghetto, telling them to conform and quote and unquote play the game. I thought it was great. Kendrick says the revolution is about to be televised, which was very Gil Scott Heron, who actually said the revolution would not be televised, but still, there will be no reruns, brother. The revolution will be live. Kendrick did some of our faves. He didn't do like some very obvious ones. Like I just knew for certain he was gonna do we gonna be all right, and he didn't. I was like, that's an interesting choice. He also didn't do swimming pools. He didn't do Don't Kill My Vibe. I was like, these are some of your most popular songs. And he chose to do more recent stuff. But he also did this song with SZA. He did 2 songs with SZA because she was on stage too. In her full Shaka Khan glory, with all her Shaka Khan hair and her red outfit. She's a well-built woman. She sounded great. She looked great. I saw some folks saying that she seemed nervous, and I was like, she seemed fine. Like, she did a great job. Kendrick said, the revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. He had on bell bottoms, Celine bell bottoms. Somebody went and looked them up. They're like $1,200. And I was like, yeah, he's performing at the Super Bowl. Like, you wanted him to wear Levi's? I mean, he could have. That would have been a choice, but he chose not to. I don't feel no way about it. Also, his chain. He had a bunch of chains on. I mean, Sir was glistening, which I was not mad at. But one of his chains had an A on it, and people keep saying it refers to A minor when actually it refers to the name of one of his companies, PD Lang. If you go back really, really far, there's always a prominent A in all of the branding for PD Lang. So the A is actually not for A minor and not like us. It's for the branding of PD Lang. I mean, I guess it could be both, but primarily it's for PD Lang. I thought it was really powerful imagery. Most of his black dancers were black men, which is pretty typical for him. But they were in red, white, blue. The imagery, which I thought was obvious. To some people it was, other people not so much. I thought it was a very obvious statement about black men being the foundation of America. I didn't pick up on this. There was an overhead shot. The dancers had collapsed. There was an overhead shot of them, and somebody pointed out that the dancers go from the American flag being divided and united, and then they go off and they collapse on the floor, and they collapse in the shape of the Nazi symbol. I don't know if that was a reach or not, but when I looked at the image, I was like, oh yeah, I can see it. I saw somebody else equate it to the outline of like a body on the floor. I'm thinking of, like, weirdly enough, the floor in Coming to America. That the chalk outline of a body, that. I don't think that's far-fetched. Choreography was great. I like the sets, very minimal sets. I don't know cars like that, the opening staging, if you will. Kendrick Lamar is squatted on the front of a car and he's rapping. All these dancers in red, white, and blue. It's like a clown car. And I was like, how many people are in that car? Like, where are they coming from? Because clearly they're like coming up through the bottom of the car because you can't fit all that many people in that small ass car. But I was like, how are they doing that? Like, I was trying to figure out the logistics of it. There was another one where they're under a street lamp on the block, if you will. Somebody else said it was like a prison yard. And I was like, I'm not comfortable with associating black men with prison yards without like some, I don't know, like if you want to put up like the gates with the, what is it on top, the circle barbed wire. There we go. Like if you want to show me that, then I'd be like, okay, prison yard. But otherwise, like, I'm not comfortable making that association. References to 40 Acres and a Mule. I saw Spike Lee give Kendrick a shout out for that. And I was like, now Spike, I know that your production company from way back, way back has been called 40 Acres and a Mule. But like, that's not the only reference to it, right? Like, where you got the reference from. Like, and so does Kendrick. He was very praiseworthy of Kendrick's performance, so I don't take issue with it. He wanted to get in the mix and have something to say, something positive to say, because he wanted to be associated with the greatness. I say that all the time. Like, when I talk about people on here, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm name dropping because I'm proud. Like, if they wasn't doing shit, I wouldn't be mentioning them. When people ask about my must for a first date, I think of the obvious: deodorant. I love my Lumi whole body deodorant. It is safe to put anywhere on my body: pits, underboobs, thigh folds, belly buttons, feet, and more. It comes in amazingly delectable scents, including clean tangerine, lavender sage, my personal favorite, I like smelling like a spa, and toasted coconut. Lumi was created by an OBGYN who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. So the solution, Lumi. Whichever way you like to apply your deodorant, Lumi has you covered. There's a solid stick deodorant, a sweat control deodorant. That's 72 hours of odor and sweat control for pits, privates, and beyond. And then there's also a spray deodorant, which is aluminum free and ideal for hard to reach places. Now, me personally, I only use Lumi under my arms, but it is good for almost everywhere. Lumi Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. Use code RATCHET15 for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code RATCHET15 at LUMEDEODORANT.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Lumi. There was some question as to whether Kendrick was going to play Not Like Us, and I actually appreciated that he did play it and then didn't do it at the end. But throughout the performance, he teased it, and he was like, hey, like, I want to sing this song. But he was like, they like to sue, i.e. Drake. He really made fun of Drake and that lawsuit on the Super Bowl stage to, like, a minimum 100 million people watching. But he did eventually sing it and turn direct to camera and smile like a goofy little kid. Like he was taunting him. And he was like, say Drake, and looked directly in the camera with a little smile. Like, I hear you like I'm young. I guess the lawyers let that part in because he didn't say the pedophile part. And then also a minor. I don't think he said it. I think he just let the audience say it. Like scream it at the top of their lungs is probably more accurate. Little diabolical ass. Oh, much has been made. Serena Williams, like in the middle of Not Like Us, pops on the screen and is crip walking. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like I scream laughed. Like I was like, this is fucking hysterical because there are levels to it, right? First and foremost, but she's Serena fucking Williams. She ain't no average chick. For some reason, and maybe they're basic, a lot of people in the press, I was watching The View this morning with my mom, and they were talking about Serena dancing and then Stephen A. Smith's response. And they were reducing Serena's dancing, her having dated Drake, and then dancing at the Super Bowl to this song in response to him because he said something about her and her husband. And I was like, I mean, sure, like that could have been a reason. But I was like, are we all forgetting, first and foremost, that Serena is from Compton? She's become a global international figure. She's associated probably more so with LA, like the Hollywood side of LA as opposed to the Compton side of LA. But Serena Williams is from the hood. Not Like Us is many things. Like it's a diss track for Drake, but it's also become this massive anthem for the West Coast in general, but also for California specifically, and also just zeroing in a little further to LA and then zeroing in even further, like pin drop further to Compton. Yeah, it makes complete sense that a Compton girl loves a Compton song. Additionally, if you recall, many years ago, I thought it was more like 10, but Serena's husband, Alex, corrected me, corrected all of us, and was like 13 years ago, if you do recall, if he don't do nothing else, he gonna make some pretty babies and he gonna set the record straight about his wife. He don't play about her. But he was like, like 13 years ago, like Serena did the crip walk at Wimbledon, but not like Wimbledon. Serena crip walked after a win and it just blew up into this horrible, horrible media mess. Like I remember her doing it. I also remember Venus being in the crowd going crazy because her sister was crip walking. Like crazy in a good way. Like Venus wanted to run down and do it with her. But But Serena did that, and Serena got raked over the coals for it. So, like, all these years later, it was a real, like, fuck you, I don't give a fuck. I did it once, and years later, I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to do it on the largest stage possible that I can find at the Super Bowl to this song, this West Coast anthem, because I don't give a fuck. Her being Drake's ex and being able to, like, take a little jab at him, like the ones he took at her and her husband. Like, in the year of our Lord, 2022, he called her husband a groupie. Serena had been married for 5 years. She and Drake broke up somewhere around 2015. And the year of our Lord, 2022, he's still talking about her and her husband. So even if it was just about Drake, I really wouldn't care. But it wasn't about him. He was a cherry. Being a girl from Compton, that's the ice cream. All the hullabaloo that was caused by her crip walking back in the day, and being able to say fuck you, whipped cream, and fudge. Drake was a little old cherry. It's really great if you have the cherry on the sundae, but if it ain't there, you still eat that bitch. Even if the song had nothing to do with Drake, Serena's ass would have been up there crip walking for her life. My mom was like, she went and found the shortest skirt that she could find, didn't she? Do you see that lady's legs? I wouldn't even have put on pants. I'd just be out there. Demetria, your ass is out. Yes, it is. Do you see these legs? Serena worked hard for this body she got now. I was following her fitness journey. She had this ugly ass skirt. It was. It was an ugly ass jean skirt. It was one of them long denim skirts, some real like house on the prairie type shit. And Serena wanted to put on the skirt and it wouldn't fit. Now, part of it was because, she got a substantial back portion. Some things might fit you in the waist, but it's going to be a struggle for you to get them over your ass. It just is what it is. Serena wanted to put on this ugly ass skirt. So she was working out really hard to get into the ugly ass skirt. And it took her a couple months. She got into the ugly ass skirt. She lost the weight. She built the muscle. She toned everything up. She looks fabulous. She looks fabulous. She looks brown. She looks very brown because for a while, we spoke about it on here. She wasn't looking as brown as God intended her to look. But she looked very brown at the Super Bowl. I saw some behind the scenes pictures of her very black makeup artist. That's not the same woman that was doing her face in the middle of last year because, you know what, things have improved. We are going forward. We are not dwelling on the past. She looked good. The hair texture was a choice. I'm not going to complain. We have made substantial progress. We are moving ahead in the right direction. And I love that for her and for all of us. Amazing. Stephen A. Smith, the same Stephen A. Smith that like 2 weeks ago was like he regretted. But he didn't say regret. He said he felt like a fool for voting for Kamala Harris. And I was like, so you wanted to vote for the dictator instead? Stephen A. Smith, he just be saying shit to say shit. I don't really believe that he believes half the shit that comes out his mouth. He be trying to get attention. He want to be Shannon Sharp so bad. He feels like he's in the shadows. So he said if Serena Williams was his wife and she performed at the Super Bowl to diss her ex, that he would have divorced her. And I was like, one, that's not why she performed. And in case you were ill-informed about why she performed, her own husband, her actual factual husband, who is married to her and has been for 8 years, they have 2 children together. Stephen A. Smith is creating a hypothetical wife situation in his head with a woman who actually has a husband who is fine with what she did and supports her. Her own husband brought up the crip walking from 13 years ago, and he says that's why she did it. Now, Stephen A. Smith, he was like, I would divorce her. Sir, you know nothing about divorce. And you know nothing about divorce, like you also know nothing of marriage. You're how old? 57 years old? And I'm not saying everybody has to get married. It's not for everybody. I did it. I didn't particularly enjoy it. I'm not trying to like clown people that haven't been married. Certainly not so. But like, sir, saying that you would divorce someone, not because you caught your wife, with another man, not because you found some love letters or you found she was at the hotel or she went on a trip with another dude or, she buying jewelry, she's spending your money on the next nigga. Not because of that, because she danced at the Super Bowl trolling her ex who had also been trolling her. Like, even if that is what she did, like, is that really a reason to, you know what? We got this house, we got this life, we got these 2 kids, we got these 8 years, but, fuck you because I don't like because you danced at the Super Bowl. That sound logical to you? Maybe a little pissy about it. Like, maybe. But also, like, do you not think Serena Williams didn't say to her husband, like, hey, Kendrick called. He's like, what's good?
You want to come perform with me at the Super Bowl? Like, do some crip walking or some such. You don't think that she said to her husband, like, hey, Kendrick called. He want me to come to the Super Bowl. He want me to crip walk on stage. You don't think her husband was like, cool, we going to the Super Bowl. You think like he didn't know what was going to happen? Like they flew to Louisiana and like they were going to the Super Bowl. And then she was like, hey, babe, I'll be right back. Enjoy this halftime show. And she just like popped up on stage. Like, what? People just be saying shit just to be saying shit. That's why I don't pay no attention to the shit Stephen A. Smith be saying. Oh, Mustard. Mustard. I was really proud of Mustard. He was so damn happy to be on that stage. I felt like he represented all the fans watching at home. Like he came on the stage in his jacket. He had his little football in his hand. He was just bouncing around, and then he like went away. And I was like, oh, that was cute. They gave Mustard like, his 10 seconds or whatever. And then he reappeared and was still dancing. And I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at it. I mean, he made all the beats. He did the beat for Not Like Us, if anything else. But I appreciated that. I appreciate the Kendrick showed love to him. And I appreciate like how happy and regular he seemed. And I was like, sir, you got to be rich as fuck because you production. Production and songwriters always get their checks cut. Mustard is a wealthy man. He's so happy. There's probably so much else about that Kendrick performance. My favorite part of it is it pissed off so many racist white people.
When we're trying to make progress, life's curveballs often feel like taking one step forward and two steps back. A Chime checking account makes financial progress easier with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/ratchet. With Chime, you're joining a community with millions of members who are working on financial progress. Chime helps you make progress with fee-free overdraft up to $200. Your next deposit is applied to your balance. Get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. To date, Chime has spotted over $30 billion. And my favorite part about Chime, they make it easy to access your money with over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/ratchet. That's chime.com/ratchet. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank North America or Stride Bank North America. Members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-state network ATMs.
What else did I want to talk about before we get to Tracy? Yeah, this is in Rolling Stone. It says a 9-hour film about Prince has been shelved by the streaming service following a new deal with Prince's estate. Actually, let's read this on Daily Beast. Rolling Stone has a paywall. Okay, this new documentary about Prince, who died in 2016, age 57. They're not releasing the current documentary because they struck a deal with Prince's estate. It says the Prince estate and Netflix have come to a mutual agreement that will allow the estate to develop and produce a new documentary featuring exclusive content from Prince's archive. As a result, the Netflix documentary, the 7-hour one that people work tirelessly on, is not going to be released. It says last September, still reading on the Daily Beast, the New York Times revealed that the reportedly 9-hour documentary would accuse Prince of emotional and physical abuse. And it says his former romantic partners, Jill Jones, Susanna Melvoin, and Mayette Garcia, all reportedly made allegations against Prince. Still on the Daily Beast, it says Primary Wave Music and Prince Legacy, which have connections with Prince assets, said, quote, we are working to resolve matters concerning the documentary so that Prince's story may be told in a way that is factually correct and does not mischaracterize or sensationalize his life. I'm going to tell you how low my bar is. Because when I read this the other day, my first thought was, well, at least it wasn't sexual abuse. He terrorizing and beating on people, but at least he's not raping them, as if one is any better than the other. Just, oh God. That's how low my bar is. That was really the first thought that came in my head. All trash. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, all of it. All trash. And additionally, too, as well. Also, I'm glad he wasn't sexually abusing nobody. Oh, one more thing before we get to Tracy, and I'll just take a few seconds on this. Eric Adams, as I've been saying for months, at least since the election months, that was in November, we're in February now, I have been saying that he was never going to trial and those charges were going to mysteriously go away, get dropped, something, whatever. This has come to pass. I can't even say like I told you so because I said it and nobody was really like, girl, you sound crazy. Everybody was like, I hear you. I could see it. So Eric Adams, the Justice Department, told New York that they want the charges dropped. There's the possibility that when another U.S. attorney is appointed to replace Day, remember Day left? Day's the one that initiated the charges, the indictment, all of that. So if somebody else comes along and they decide they want to review the evidence or some such, they could decide to bring charges at a later time. But as of right now, no charges. It's been reported that Eric Adams specifically told his staff, like, not to mention Trump and then also not to intervene with anything Trump decides to do in New York City. The million-dollar question is, he didn't just, like, give you your freedom. The Justice Department didn't just drop the charges for no reason. Because we read the indictment on here. Like, everything they said you did. And documented it in your own fucking emails. He was absolutely 110% going to jail. So those charges have gone away. What did he do in exchange for that? What did he do? What did he agree to keep his ass out of jail? The leading guess is New York City has always been known as a sanctuary city, and he likely gave that up. He's likely going to give the new administration carte blanche to do whatever they want with the quote and unquote illegal immigrants that, they keep saying are criminals and rapists and horrible, terrible people that are a blight on our society. But somehow they keep going to their jobs to get people. And I was like, so wait, they're criminals who go work a 9 to 5 every day? Like they're consistently showing up because you go to their job because that's where they're going to be at. They consistently go to work. But these are the criminals or these hardworking people who really ain't bothering nobody, who just trying to make some money to support themselves and their family. These are not people I'm worried about. I'm sure there's got to be some sort of database that Elon and the mini minions want access to. I'm sure Eric Adams will gladly turn over that too. It's, bruh, like you really fucked over a lot of people to avoid accountability for some shit you did. It's not even like I didn't do that shit. I'm being falsely accused. Like I'll do anything for my freedom. Like, no, you did that shit and you was stupid about it. May God bless New York City, because the immigrant community ain't gonna be the only folks that get hit. I mean, everybody's getting hit, but y'all about to get hit real, real hard. That's fucked up and unfortunate.
When we're trying to make progress, life's curveballs often feel like taking one step forward and 2 steps back. A Chime checking account makes financial progress easier with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/ratchet. With Chime, you're joining a community with millions of members who are working on financial progress. Chime helps you make progress with fee-free overdraft up to $200. Your next deposit is applied to your balance. Get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. To date, Chime has spotted over $30 billion. And my favorite part about Chime, they make it easy to access your money with over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/ratchet. That's chime.com/ratchet. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank North America or Stride Bank North America. Members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-state network ATMs. I'm going to let you in on a secret. I've always wanted to be a poet. So I was excited to see Amanda Gorman has a class all about it on Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the best to become your best. Masterclass is the only streaming platform where you can learn and grow with over 200 of the world's best. For just $10 a month billed annually, a membership with Masterclass gets you unlimited access to every instructor. And you can access Masterclass on your phone, computer, smart TV, or even audio mode. I'm currently taking Amanda Gorman's class to learn the fundamentals of poetry, but there's so much more. You can bring your dream home to life on any budget with Joanna Gaines. Improve your physical and mental well-being with leading gut and brain health experts. And turn your passion into achievements with cultural icon Martha Stewart. And the classes really make a difference. 88% of members feel that Masterclass has made a positive impact on their lives. I've been taking Masterclass for years. Before I could afford to go to TV classes, I learned the fundamentals of TV writing from Masterclass. Every new Masterclass membership comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So don't wait another moment to start your learning journey with Masterclass. Right now, our listeners get an additional 15% off any annual membership at masterclass.com/ratchet. That's 15% off at masterclass.com/ratchet. Masterclass.com/ratchet.
Let's give Tracy a proper introduction to Ratchet and Respectable. Tracy Oliver is a film and television writer. She's also a producer and actress. You know her work from, it's a long, long list. We're going to do the highlights, just the highlights. Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl. She was an actress, a writer, a producer. Survivor's Remorse. She was a writer. Barbershop, The Next Cut. She was a writer. Girls Trip, creator, producer. Little, she's a writer, producer. The Sun is also a star. She's executive producer and writer. First Wives Club, creator and producer. And then Harlem, our beloved Harlem, that just wrapped its final season. And more. She told me about some upcoming projects that she's working on that sounds super, super good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome Tracy Oliver to Ratchet and Respectable. How are you, Tracy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here.
Are you recovering from the Super Bowl? Did you go out last night?
I kept it kind of cute. I was doing too much drinking last week, so for no reason. And I was like, I'll be sober-ish for today.
I ended up at like a taco bar. There were margaritas. It was happy hour. Yeah.
That's my favorite kind of vibe. I like that.
I mean, yes, but I'm like in recovery. And I was like, oh, I have an interview today. I should probably pull myself together. No, it's fine.
Well, this is like the right type of interview.
Yes. Yes.
Drunk girl.
Someone who understands my plight and likes to party the same way I do.
Yep.
I wanted to talk to you because I'm super excited to talk to you, but I'm super sad about the end of Harlem.
Yeah, me too. I found out a while ago. I think I found out pre the strike, which was, I want to say 2023. So I was like devastated when I first got that phone call, I'll be honest. And then I kind of made peace with it. And what I appreciated was that they did give me time to kind of reroute the series and structure in a way that felt more like a goodbye and not do what so many other Black shows unfortunately have had to do, which is just end on a cliffhanger without any type of resolve. And so I was grateful for that, but sad at the same time.
Did they say why?
Not really. The explanation I got was that they're going in kind of a new direction with like big 4-quadrant shows like Fallout and like things based on like IP and video games and just much bigger shows. And we were a very niche comedy. So yeah, we just didn't fit in the new like regime's mandate of what they were looking for, unfortunately.
I feel like that's the very common explanation. Natasha Rockwell's show, like she seems to have got like a similar response. And she's like, wait, what?
Yeah, the burden is really high right now for Black shows. You have to perform at a level that I think is unreasonable given the budget that we have to work with and the marketing that a lot of the shows receive. But yeah, if it's not like immediately a huge hit, or if you're not getting like, 10 Emmys, then they're just like, oh, we're going to cancel it. And I don't think it's an accident that it's a lot of Black shows that are getting the axe very early right now. So
Well, I'm very sad about the ending. I think, like most of the viewers, we just wanted more and more and more. Like, we love these characters. We loved the direction. We were all screaming at our screens, especially this season, which was really, really good. Can you talk a little bit about the development of this show and like creating these super lovable, likable, flawed, frustrating, but can't look away characters?
Yeah, it's been a really long journey for me. I wrote this script on spec, which basically means I wrote it for free.
Mm.
And at that time, there just wasn't a show like that on the air. And I particularly wanted to set it in New York because, again, at that time, there wasn't like Black women in New York set shows. We were kind of gentrified out of all of them. And I love Sex and the City, but I also was like, that just doesn't look like the New York that I know. And I love the idea of girlfriends and tackling friendship and sisterhood. I've always loved that story or, those themes, but I just hadn't seen it with Black women. So I was like, I'm just going to write it. And at the time, it was kind of perceived as, wow, this is a really great writing sample, but, I don't see how this has an audience. So it was kind of shelved. And then when another thing I worked on with Black women, Girls Trip,
Mm.
blew up and made like $100+ million. And all of a sudden people were like, hey, do you still have that script? Do you want to meet about it? So Girls Trip and the success of that led me to Harlem, even though Harlem was written before that.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just assume as a consumer that everything comes out in like the succession that it was created, and everyone's like, no, we've been sitting on this for like 11 years.
If people only knew how long it takes to actually get stuff made, you can be in a totally different period of your life by the time something happens. And you're like, oh, wow, I wrote this in my 20s. I'm now in my mid 30s. So much has changed. So I had to kind of age the show up with me because I could no longer totally relate to what I had written like 6 years prior.
Yeah, I feel that way when I go back and read some of the things I wrote in my 20s. And I was like, I meant it when I said it. I felt that way. That was the way the world works. And now I'm just like, girl, what?
I know, because you evolve and it's hard to stay in that same place. So the art has to kind of evolve and grow with you. So, and I kind of saw Harlem do that as I was growing and getting older. So,
Well, speaking of like evolution, can you talk about the evolution of these characters over the course of the show? Not even I think, one of the things that I read, or the show is being created as if it had another season in the middle of season 3, and then it gets axed, and you made like an executive decision to say, we're going to scrap the story that we have, and we're going to go in a whole different direction to honor the arc of the show,
yep.
the arc of the story.
Yeah. It was definitely heading in a more cliffhangery direction. And I originally was not thinking that it would be Camille who was pregnant.
I remember.
Were you part of the original
I was part of the original writer's room. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that direction, as you remember, was Quinn getting pregnant.
Uh-huh.
And then Camille kind of on the storyline that I kind of sort of did with Quinn this season, just her, she quit her job. She's dating, no strings attached, and just not like necessarily looking for like commitment and marriage and all that stuff, and just seeing where that takes her. So it was just kind of different. And then with Ty, there was a whole storyline with her going home, and I kind of scrapped that. The threads are there in this new season, but we just didn't have the real estate to actually go home. But there was a whole episode that was outlined where you got to see her go to Georgia and, reconcile with her parents. And I'm sad we didn't get a chance to do that. But what I really wanted to do with Ty, because we'd seen her in season 1 and 2 be really toxic and struggle with women and struggle with vulnerability and kind of cut out when things got messy. I was like, the arc for her isn't really necessarily about her job. She's always been competent and capable in that arena. It's sorting out this emotional storyline. And Eva is a way for us to force her to do the hard thing of staying instead of leaving. And the parent stuff was kind of the root of some of why she acts that way. But I wanted to do like a nice love story for her because we hadn't seen her in that type of storyline before. So there was some of that in the original season, but I would say the biggest change, honestly, was Camille and Ian, because in the original version, I didn't have him so woven into her life. I wanted to see her date other people and then kind of make her way back to him in a different way. But when you only get one season to do something, I was like, we've been on this journey with Tyler and with Ian. It didn't feel right to not have him in the third season. So I was like, all right, I'm going to have to make their worlds collide again. And the way we ended season 2 was with them breaking up. And I've done it before. I'm sure I know a lot of people have done it. People try to pretend they haven't, but even when you cut ties with someone, you can still have sex and still, engage in inappropriate relationships, and you keep it going. So I thought that was an organic way to bring them back together. Even though they broke up, they're still kind of blurring the lines and having sex and being messy. And then from that came maybe Camille's the one who's pregnant, and we do their love story this season.
Yes. What was messy and delicious, and I was waking up at 5 a.m. to watch it on Amazon just to shout at the screen.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, so it's good. Like, if you're not really shouting, does it really count? Does it really, like, hitting? Yeah. What would you say the secret is to your success? Because I see, like, hit after hit after hit. Like, I see no particular order. Obviously, Girls Trip, but also First Wives Club, also Little, obviously Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like you just have, like, this great run of success right now. What do you think is the secret to it? Is there a secret?
I don't know if there's a secret per se. I will say that it's authentic for me. Like, I really am that Black girl that drinks too much sometimes and, like, had some really messy relationships and has struggled to find love and figure it out. So I relate so much to those characters, and I'm writing from a place of even trying to find myself. And so I think that in itself makes it feel relatable, because I'm not making it up. I'm not coming from a place, I've never lived this life. And the reason I say that is because sometimes I watch Black stuff that I'm like, did a Black person write this? Or did someone who actually lived this experience write this? And because it doesn't feel lived in and doesn't feel real and authentic. So that's one of the reasons, I think, is because it is actually coming from almost like a diary place of me just putting out stuff that, like, I feel internally. So that's one thing. And then 2, I don't try to chase, like, what's popular. Almost everything that I've done, even Girls Trip, was done before anybody else had attempted it. Like, I remember being told a movie with, like, 4 Black women in their 40s is not going to make a lot of money. And I just didn't see that. I was like, there's an audience for this. So I think you're wrong. And then when it made that type of money, I didn't think it was going to be that successful, but I knew it was going to make money, because I was like, there's women out there that want to see this type of stuff, and you're not servicing them. We're not giving women over 40, Black women over 40, like, content. And so I saw that. And then, even with Harlem, at the time that I wrote the pilot, there wasn't anything like that on the air. So that's part of it too, is that I tried to write the stuff that's missing and write the stuff that I really want to see and that other people want to see. And I think that's helpful, if that makes sense. But it's also a harder path. Sometimes I question if I should be doing this type of path, because you're always kind of fighting an uphill battle and you're always trying to prove yourself. And so on some level it's harder, but when it works, it's such a great feeling.
You're on the right path.
Yeah.
You're on the right path. Just as a woman in her 40s who creates content for other women in their 40s, because I was complaining that there was a void. Yeah. And I was like, well, I guess I should just go ahead and fill it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like we want more.
Yeah.
Whatever you've got coming down the pipeline, like we want that. Wait, what do you have coming down the pipeline?
I have a show with stars called Not a Happy Family, and it's kind of a very rich Black family, and there's a crime at the center of it, and it's a drama. So it's not a total departure from what I normally do, because there's a lot of humor and comedy in it too. That's a drama. Gabrielle Union is attached. to play the lead in that. And, so I'll find out very soon if that's picked up the series. And then I have another project with Angela Bassett attached.
I'm so just on that. What are the details? Give us the details if you can.
It's based on this book called Paper Gods. Angela Bassett's playing the mayor of Atlanta. So it's a political drama, kind of House of Cardsy, and very twisty, turny, and it's a dark role for her. Like, she's kind of an anti-hero in this. So we'll see. I mean, both are in development, and I am excited about, but both are also dramas, which is interesting. I need to probably set up another comedy, but for whatever reason, I was kind of driven to do something darker next.
Okay, that's fine. We'll take it. I think I read somewhere that you were doing like a girls' trip in Ghana. It was being floated about.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Is that still in the works?
It is still in the works. I wrote the script. It's set in Ghana. It's still in development, so we're still figuring it out. Ghana is very expensive, apparently. I think all of us, meaning me, Will Packer, Malcolm Lee, all of us love the idea of setting it in Africa. So we're still trying to figure out how to make it make sense for the budget that Universal would do it for. But yeah, it's still being discussed and developed, and we're all really excited about it.
Wow, that's amazing. I thought that was just like one of those like rumors that's floating around. Like, everybody does like the rumors about coldest winter ever, like every couple years.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was like one of those. And I was like, wait, when you confirmed it, like I literally gasped. Like, oh my gosh.
No, it's real. Like, as of today, the script is definitely written for Ghana.
Okay.
So, yeah, which I'm really excited about, because we just haven't seen enough of Black Americans in Africa. I don't know if there's a lot of commercial content that does that. So I think it would be kind of groundbreaking if we did it. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I moved to Ghana like a couple years ago.
I remember that. How long were you there?
I lived between Ghana and South Africa for 2.5 years.
Wow.
So I'm on a hiatus back in America for now. I'm going back. I just don't know when and where.
Oh, wow.
I may pick another country.
I know. I should talk to you more about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, I want to pick your brain. I didn't know you were there for that long. That's a lot. That's great.
Yeah. No, Africa drama we'll talk about that offline. That's a whole nother story.
Okay.
Bridget Jones, it's time to live.
This Galentine's Day, make a date with Peacock.
I've set you up on Tinder. What? You're welcome.
You can call me Rockstar.
Bridget Jones.
But you can call her mummy.
Experience the final chapter of Bridget's unforgettable journey.
By all that's holy, Bridget Jones.
You are a brilliant woman. Embrace the chaos.
Enjoy your weekend, Mrs. Darcy.
Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. Streaming only on Peacock February 13th.
I also heard rumor that you were working on something like a reboot of Clueless.
Oh, that was like forever ago. I don't think that one is still happening, but that I would say that was back in like 2017, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's truth to it, but I don't think that one is gonna happen.
I love that, like, all like the far-fetched things. I'm like, is it true? And you're like, actually, it is. It is.
No, it is. There was a period where they just wanted to reboot everything with Black leads. And so I was like sent First Wives Club and Clueless, which I had mixed feelings on because I loved that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like you should just leave classics alone. But I also was like, yeah, I'm a Black girl getting these opportunities. I should probably take advantage of it. So some of them I actually did take on because sometimes you just have to take the opportunity when it comes.
Yeah. No, I went to see Clueless 3 times in the theater when I was in high school.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in the theater as well. It just was I don't know. It was like a perfect movie.
Yeah. And I watched it maybe like 2 months ago on a plane. And I was like, it holds up over time.
It does.
It's still ridiculous. It's still quotable, but it's still like, you just love everyone. It's still a really great story, well told.
Agree. No, it's great. It aged really well.
Yeah.
Which is not true for a lot of things, but that one did.
That one. Yeah, I go back and watch like Sex and the City now, and I'm like, I still love it because it's nostalgic, but like some of these things are kind of cringy.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I think it was a way different time. I forget this was like super early 2000s. And I was like, oh, we don't do a lot of this stuff anymore.
Yeah, I was like, "We didn't say that. We don't act like that."
No, like Gen Z hates it apparently. They're always like, how did you guys like this? I mean, I still see good moments in it for sure, but yeah, some of it didn't age that great.
Not at all. I read that you originally got into, like, your entrance into Hollywood, if you will, was acting, like, that was your original passion?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was. When I was at Stanford, I was in the drama program studying like performance and stuff. And even before then, I almost went to NYU to do musical theater.
You can sing too?
I can and doing dance stuff. And then yeah, I used to do a lot of musicals. And then even at Stanford, I continued to do musicals. And my parents were kind of like, please pick a real career. Like, you're not going to make money as a musical theater actress. So I kept that in the back of my mind, but I still never quite let it go. And so to me, writing became the safer thing to do. And so I started taking playwriting classes at Stanford. And the first one that I took was this class called Actors Who Write, Writers Who Act. So it was only actors and writers in there. And it forced you, if you were an actor, to have to write, if you were a writer, to have to act. And it was just, I don't know, I fell in love with it because I felt like, oh, when I'm an actor, I have no power and no control. You're at the mercy of directors and producers, and you may not get the part for a variety of reasons. Or they're just doing shows without Black people in it, and they're not casting Black people. And so I just was like, well, if I write, then I can create the roles that I'm not getting. So that was kind of like my initial motivation was just like, well, if I wrote for myself and wrote for my Black friends who were also not working, maybe that's a way for us to like, get stuff going. And that's where I met Issa. Issa and I were in that same drama class together. So then she casted me. She did
Awkward Black Girl?
no, before Awkward Black Girl, I'm like blanking on it. I don't know how I'm blanking on this. The Spike Lee School Days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Issa adapted School Days into a musical at Stanford. And then I was cast as the Tisha Campbell role. And
Of course you were.
yes. And that she directed me in that, and I got to like, sing and dance and act and all that stuff. And I did The Wiz, I did Grease, I did all these, like, I was really deep into like to the musical theater world, but simultaneously learning how to write, primarily because I just felt unsafe and felt unstable only acting as a Black woman. I was like, this could be really, really dicey. But yeah, so meeting Issa in that class, and she was also an actor learning to write. And we both, I forgot, we also did For Color Girls at Stanford together. So we acted in that together. So we just had a rapport working together in school. And then when she graduated, she went to New York for a year. And then I went to film school. And she was in New York doing a fellowship in theater. And so she just hit me out of the blue to be like, I have an idea for this show. It's called Awkward Black Girl. And I'm like, tell me more. So she was just like, I need you to help put it together. I need you to produce, help me write. You can play the villain, the light-skinned bitch. And I was like, ooh, I love that. So I was like, I'm down. But yeah, it all started because of performance. And then now I think people who don't know me very well don't know that I ever acted or did anything performance-wise, which is bizarre to me because that's all I did for like the first half of my life.
I love. Would you do it again, or are you out the game?
I would. I almost did something in Harlem.
You sitting in the audience for like Girls Trip musical, and I was like, "Hey, it's Tracy."
I know, and that was even forced on me by the cast. I think I would. It would have to be a situation that was more relaxed. And the reason I say that is like when I'm on set and like really running a show, it's a different muscle than performance. Like I'm managing every aspect of it and making sure that like I'm producing a good episode of TV. And every actor who does this, they have to have a really strong like producing partner to make sure they're protected and all of that stuff. So if I did it, it would have to be like I'm going into it with someone else who's managing most of that stuff on set day to day. But we just didn't have the budget for all that. And I was like, let me protect the show. That's first and foremost, me as a writer and showrunner, not me jumping on screen and then everything else falling apart. So
who did you have played on the show? Whose role or what role?
we had thought about at some point me being Quinn's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Jasmine Guy actually suggested that. We were all drinking one night and Jasmine Guy got really toasted and was like, girl, you need to play my daughter. And I was like, I would do that. And she just was like, I think you and Grace actually, could be sisters. It could work. And then I thought about it and I was like, oh, if she did have a sister, what would that sister be like? And we even came up with the storyline for it and just never used it. But yeah, we came up with a storyline that her sister would have all the things that Quinn wanted.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Oh, yeah. That was, yeah. Yeah. So then that was part of that original thing and all of that got scrapped. But yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. Lots of ideas that will never see the light of day.
Yeah, maybe the next show or the show after that or the show after that. There'll be many more.
Yes.
They'll be around for many years to come.
Yep. Abundance mindset. I'm trying to keep that in my mind because it is really bleak right now for Black content. I'm going to be honest. So, but I'm determined to find a way despite what's happening.
What does really bleak mean? Can you lay out the landscape for us that are like outside of like the Hollywood bubble?
What's happening in corporate with all of the DEI attacks and, the getting rid of diversity, that's happening creatively too. So people are not calling it that, but there's a definite unspoken thing that's happening that if you're pitching a diverse project, it's not necessarily going to be as well received as it was 5 years ago. So there was a push, I would say like 3 or 4 years ago. And I think we all experienced that where there was just like a plethora of Black stuff all on at the same time. And that's because in the same way that the DEI stuff in the corporate world was considered a priority, it was considered a priority to make diverse content, make queer content, make Black content, like Hispanic content, whatever. Just not only like cis white male content. That was a mandate, and it was responsible for a lot of really great content. All of that has changed. Those departments that were buying that type of stuff, Black executives that were champions, a lot of them have been purged and a lot of them have been fired from those jobs. So the people who bought and advocated for us are no longer there. And the mandate to have those shows exist, that's not there anymore either. So we're experiencing the same type of purge that everybody else is experiencing. There's an attack on like other type of content right now.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about that in like every other space. I mean, because obviously like the Target is probably like the biggest thing that Black people talk about right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, or NFL with as of yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's, it's so confusing to me. And this is just like across the board with the DEI thing. Like there's been a culture shift in some ways. Okay. But it's like, there are still Black people who like, want content.
Yes.
They still want to watch TV. They still want to consume. They still need to like buy their groceries and, their household goods and whatever other random things we would pick up when we went to the store. And it's just like, so you don't want none of that money? You just none of it. You don't want none of the money no more.
I know, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. And I actually sat down with Issa maybe a couple months ago. And one of the things we talked about was like, how do we leverage our individual brands into getting outside money and just making shit, because the demand is still there. That didn't go away. Like you're saying, like we still need to see ourselves. That never like went away. And it feels like, it feels frustrating and kind of powerless to just sit there and let people tell us, okay, well, if you change this character to white, or, if you do this, then it'll be something we'll buy. That doesn't feel like the right thing. So we're kind of going back to our awkward Black girl roots again, and being like, well, fuck it. Maybe we just do something outside of the system. And so the conversations are being had because I am like, you're not going to tell us we don't matter. Like we'll just find a way and we'll make the money ourselves. And don't you worry about it. That's kind of how I feel right now.
Yeah, no, we always find a way.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, let me and my massive audience of Black women, like, we want to support, we want to love, we want to watch. So whatever, you and Issa are cooking up together or individually, like, we insist.
I love that. And that's honestly what it's going to take. Art is becoming just as political as everything else. Like, we're going to have to like join together and support stuff that's coming out because they're looking for reasons to not make stuff with Black women.
Yeah. Yeah. We got you, sis. Wasn't that the show? It's not the name, but we got you. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I really do. Like, we're going to need it.
And we need your work. Is there anything that I should have asked you about that I didn't? Or you want audiences to know?
Well, I did want to clarify. I've said it on Twitter a few times, and someone screenshotted this article that incorrectly said that Harlem ended because I chose to end it. And that is absolutely not true. I could have and would have continued this show for multiple seasons. There was no shortage of stories to tell. You were there. We had other things to talk about. And it was not my decision to do 6 episodes either. It was originally 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it got cut to 6, which I was gutted by because cutting out 2 whole episodes is hard to do when you've already gotten a tall order of finishing a series in the last season. So no, I was as disappointed and frustrated as everybody else. And there were scenes that I wish we had gotten to shoot, and we just couldn't because of bandwidth and time and all the other stories that I felt were more important that we had to, put on screen. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up because the disappointment that a lot of people felt about it being the last season, the last 6 episodes, I had to deal with my own processing of that. And so I get it.
I haven't even seen that people were saying that. Like, I mean, everyone sort of attributed it to like the network or production or budget or something like that. I don't think I hadn't seen anyone say that it was, a decision by you.
Oh, good. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad that most people know that then.
Yeah. But now more will know.
Yes.
I thought it was a really great season. I love these characters. I love these women. I'm very sad to see them go, but I'm glad that they, in their each individual way, found their own happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure about Ty and Eva. I'm not really sure Ty had like the huge change that I wanted her to, but I think her heart is in the right place. She's trying.
Yes.
Yes. And that's much of the battle.
Yeah. And it's hard to make those giant leaps in 6 episodes.
Yep.
And I didn't want it. And that you get into weird territory, in my opinion, if you take a character on a journey that wasn't earned from where they started. Had we had another season to tell Ty and Eva, and then I think we could get to the place that you wanted. But she still has a lot of work to do. I agree with that.
They're all in progress.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I love about the show is like it ended and you get to imagine where it goes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and I would say, I guess there were people, I've seen a couple comments about how they wish Angie didn't have to choose between career and between love. And
dude was awful.
I know. And I was, that surprised me that some people didn't see that he was not good for her. I was surprised about that. But also, I don't think that Angie's done. In my mind, I'm like, he just wasn't the right person. But it never occurred to me that her choosing her career meant she's choosing to be alone forever.
No, if she was with like a really good guy, like who Seth had been, I don't think Seth is bad. Seth wasn't just honest up front. But if she was with someone like Seth, who didn't drop the bomb at the end, and then she had to choose between career and that would have been much more of a like, girl, what? But him, I was like, you absolutely must go with Malcolm D. Lee on this Idris film. Like, leave now. Say yes now and go now.
I never thought about this until you just said it, but Angie actually would have been the type to be okay with Seth's proposal.
It works for Angie. It doesn't work for Quinn.
Quinn is not. She is I pour into you, you are mine, I am yours, monogamous woman. That is not. Angie was never that in any of the seasons. I think that if a guy like Seth actually had presented himself to Angie, that probably would have worked for her.
That would have been a happily ever after. They would have rode off into the sunset.
Exactly.
I got to go work on this film. Like, you go hang out with Sabrina. Like, everybody's happy.
Yes, exactly. So that's, and I'm so glad you said you didn't think Seth was a bad guy. I think it's nuanced because that situation would have worked for certain women because he was offering a lot, just not the thing that Quinn wanted, but he was still offering a lot that some people would like.
I'm more like a Quinn than I want to give myself credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm yelling at the screen when he says, like, I'm ethically non-monogamous. And I'm like, oh, here we go with this bullshit. And then he was like, well, you should meet Sabrina. And I'm like, well, you got to hear it out. You can't just walk away from Kofi. Like, you got to hear, like, that face, you got to hear it out, at least.
I would hear it out. And maybe this says a lot about me. I think I'm more Quinn at heart, too. But men cheat on you for, like, nothing. And you get no perks out of it all the time. So what he was offering was still upfront and honest and ethical, and it comes with a lot of perks. And so I'm like, it's not the worst thing in the world. I had to even ask myself, I was like, would you say no to this? I'm not totally sure. I think it would bother me over time. I think I'm the type to experiment and try it and then realize that I can't do it. But it was not a clear answer for me, to be honest.
No. Once Quinn got to the restaurant and she started like reading down like the list of STDs and the testing and the inform, and I was like, I'm out. Like, I heard her out. You did what you were supposed to do. You got all the information that you needed to make an informed decision. I'm out.
Yep. That's when it becomes real. And you're like, oh no, I can't.
Like, no, I'm good. Thanks. But Angie would have been perfect.
Yeah. Because she would have been like, good, somebody else is taking care of you.
Great. I don't feel bad. I'm off to shoot the film.
Yep.
Fuck me and Idris.
Yes.
All right, my love. That is all of my questions. Thank you so much for coming to speak with us. I love the show. I love you. And I can't wait to see the next project.
Thank you, Demetra. I really appreciate it as always.
I love Tracy. I can't wait to see her new shows. I should have asked her when they coming out. My bad. That's it for today's episode. We'll be back on Friday. Okay? Talk soon. Bye. I'm going to let you in on a secret. I've always wanted to be a poet. So I was excited to see Amanda Gorman has a class all about it on Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the best to become your best. Masterclass is the only streaming platform where you can learn and grow with over 200 of the world's best. For just $10 a month billed annually, a membership with Masterclass gets you unlimited access to every instructor. And you can access Masterclass on your phone, computer, smart TV, or even audio mode. I'm currently taking Amanda Gorman's class to learn the fundamentals of poetry, but there's so much more. You can bring your dream home to life on any budget with Joanna Gaines. Improve your physical and mental well-being with leading gut and brain health experts. And turn your passion into achievements with cultural icon Martha Stewart. And the classes really make a difference. 88% of members feel that Masterclass has made a positive impact on their lives. I've been taking Masterclass for years. Before I could afford to go to TV classes, I learned the fundamentals of TV writing from Masterclass. Every new Masterclass membership comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So don't wait another moment to start your learning journey with Masterclass. Right now, our listeners get an additional 15% off any annual membership at masterclass.com/ratchet. That's 15% off at masterclass.com/ratchet. Masterclass.com/ratchet.